Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to go over the Dimensional Arena session number 2 for the season 16. So starting off we have a shared hero which is Dahlia, which is pretty good because Dahlia is a really solid filler both for the Dooms and the Phantoms, especially the Phantoms. And then we have the solid themes of Cleopatra, so we can use the classical combo of Dahlia Cleopatra frontline to keep swapping for the better buffs and holy shields. And we also have Doris, which is a really good Dooms hero in general, although her epic runes really do kind of nerf her playability in the Dimensional Arena. And then lastly we have Bastet, which really sucks, so we're just going to skip her. For the relics, they're pretty bad relics, although we can make use of them, so let's go and see what the game has to offer for us. Group 1 is Victoria with 2 trash heroes, although Snow White is kind of usable, and then Macaria is also slightly usable, so I would say these percentages are kind of correct in a way, except Ashlyn. Ashlyn's one is pretty terrible, so we have just Victoria and Macaria in a way, with Snow White as a potential filler for the Doom's teams. Group 2 is Elowen with Bahamut and Emily as well as Ossie, so none of these heroes are really good because they're mostly synergy fillers, and they're good when the synergy is established. Apart from Bahamut, Bahamut is a pretty nice filler. Elowen we could use in our Phantoms, although Emily doesn't really have any usage right now because we don't have a single good Mystifier to make use of her. And Ossie would be a filler for the Mystifiers, so we don't really have any use for these teams. So none of the groups really look kind of like pickable apart from first because of the Victoria and the Macaria, although I wouldn't really even argue Macaria is a choice, so it's just Victoria for now. Group 3 is Death Knight, Ra, Eudora and Ayushta, so none of these heroes are really all that amazing to be picked. So Death Knight is really nice, but she requires some solid teams around her, some solid heroes, and we do have Ra, which is a nice combo with Death Knight, although it's not unkillable, so I think I will go with the group 1 because of the Victoria and the group 1 because of the Macaria. Although I don't think group 3 is a bad pick either. We can make use of Eudora, and Ayushta can be a solid filler, especially because we already do have 3 Dooms and 3 Phantoms with Ayushta on Dahlia and Cleopatra. So it's not all that terrible, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Victoria just because it's a Fate hero, can be slotted anywhere, and we do have Macaria on top of that. In the group 1, round number 2, we have Hades, Isis, and Amaterasu, which are pretty solid heroes, and then Achupus, which is absolutely horrible hero. We could make something use of all of these heroes, but we're currently not looking for either the heroes effects or the hero synergies, as these we're mostly looking for the newest heroes and the +2 heroes. Group 2 has Death Knight, but as I said already, we don't really have a proper synergy and proper setup for Death Knight. Mulan is pretty solid, but we have no Mystifiers either. And group 3 is already slightly better because we do have Babylon, but unfortunately it's only Babylon, whereas in the group 1 we have 3 usable heroes, so we're going to go ahead and select the group 1. The relics are Planar Gate and Scepter, really good relics. Unfortunately I do want my own Planar Gate, so I'm kind of forced to skip this. And then in the group 2 we have pretty terrible heroes, all apart Gleipnir and Hand of Tyr and probably Cauldron. So group 2, even though it's kind of better than the group 1 does have Scepter as well, which is very valuable if you're going against the Mystifier teams. And the Knight's Edge is a 3-round cooldown relic, so it's also really valuable. And in the group 3 we have the newest relic, which is really good for the sustain. Same goes for the Fortitude from the Amber's Torch. So 2 sustain relics, 1 damage relic, which is not that good, and it's against these relics right here, which is kind of similar because it's also sustain relic with a bursty type relic with a sustain relic. So it's pretty similar in terms of that, and I do think I like the option number 2 better, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that. The round 4 for the heroes in the group 1, we have Hecate and Aphrodite. The other 2 heroes are pretty useless, although Sylvan could be useful for the Phantom Doom. So we do have some Avengers already ready, such as Isis and potentially Victoria. So we can use Hecate and Aphrodite together, but let's look at the group 2. Group 2 has Hela and Eudora, which both are pretty useful, but we don't have any other ethereals if we don't pick our own. So that's an issue. And group 3 is only Babylon, and these heroes, although they're useful, they're not really a game changer. So apart from Babylon and the group 1, I do think Hela is more valuable because Hela is a Fate hero, and Eudora, we can make use of her. Group 3 in the last round is Pandora and Audrey and Ophelia, so pretty solid picks for our Doom Phantoms with Ophelia now, which could turn to just some regular Dooms, and then Audrey and Pandora for our Monarch base team. We have Group 2 with a pretty useless heroes. All of these 4 heroes are absolutely useless and do not contribute to anything. And Group 3 is only that Knight pretty much, so we're going to go ahead and pick Group 1. And then we're going to select some relics, hopefully 3, and unfortunately we don't have 3. So we are going to go ahead and pick group 1 because it just has 3 good relics, whereas the other groups don't really have that. Apart from Telescope, but Telescope does need 6-star breakpoint to be amazing, so group 1 it is. And I don't think I got really lucky, so I'm not sure if I will be able to finish this round very good. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to create some of Valianters and then perhaps some of Ethereals, which is just going to be these 3 Ethereals, and then we are going to have Avengers right here with some Dooms as well, and hopefully play around that. We have another Monarch in here, which we could use in here because we do have some Monarchs in here, which is really nice. We also balance it out with 2 Celestials and 3 Deviants, so we're really nice. But what we're missing is our selector hero, and that can be Lucifer, but that means we have to bench one of the Fates. So we definitely don't want to do that. So what we are going to pick is going to be probably Loki or even Arcane Dorabella, honestly. Loki is although pretty good to be selected. So we don't have Fate. So we have 3 Fate heroes, so picking Lucifer is not really a correct call in my opinion. We could pick Loki or Babylon or Venus or even Arcane Dorabella for this team. I'm not sure which. I think if I pick Loki and make Victoria be a Glorian, this team could be quite good, but it will be missing some speed, and we do have Gleipnir for the speed, so we could make something work with this and have some speed in here. Then in this team we are kind of missing a Phantom, and I could use something like Argdina or Hera in this team and bench like Doris or even Ophelia. And then with this we can use Dahlia and Hela to swap. We can use Hecate. And although, let me see, what does that bring me to if I use Argdina in here. So I get that, and I don't have really any other heroes to unfortunately fill this slot apart from Ophelia, which is not that good unfortunately. So I don't think I'm gonna go for the Argdina in here, and rather I'm going to try to create 2 strong teams rather than 3 solid teams. So just going to go for the 3 strong teams and basically play around that, and we're going to have this in here, and then we're going to bring Isis in this team with Hela. And also I'm not sure if I should select Argdina. I don't think so. I think it's pretty flexible who I will select. Let's try with Arcane Dorabella. We have 3 Monarchs this way, so I think this is pretty solid. We can also use Amaterasu in here, and we should be pretty good for this. Not terribly bad, but also not really all that weak, although we could use Macaria in there or Audrey for even better effects. So, and move or Isis in the other team. I think Macaria is slightly better in these teams, and use something like this in here instead. Yeah, I think this is slightly better than what I had initially. So we're going to go ahead and make that, and then lastly we're just going to use these heroes right here because they're just whatever I have left, and it's just basic some Dooms, and we're going to try and make 3 Doom relics, which is just going to be these relics right here because they're not really good relics at that. And then we can also use Sarcophagus in here with this relic right here and Gleipnir. And although I will pick my own planar gate, of course I will do that because it's just sustain, and I will use it in the team 1 because team 1 is quite weak if I say so myself. And on top of that I will also give them the masks for the even more sustain on top of that. And in here I will just remove this relic and use Cauldron instead because it's better for the sustain round 1 if enemy has, for example, a tree that is 7 stars. So here are the final teams that I have made, and I do think it's only 2 semi-strong teams and one kind of usable team, which is going to be this one, and we're going to move it to the first slot. And the other 2 teams are pretty strong, especially this one with the planner gate, although I don't think they're winning worthy. So overall, quite unlucky run, and I'm not sure if I will end up switching my arcane doorbell to someone like Venus or not. I will see about that later, or even perhaps Loki, although I will lose the 3 monarchs for it, but I will gain some additional burst. So it's a loss for something, but Arcane Doorbell does bring the CC speed advantage and also additional actions, so it's quite a trade-off. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you guys in the next one.